Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are when you're watching this tutorial. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Welcome to my returning viewers, welcome to my subscribers. I really appreciate your love and support. Today we're making this crochet dress. You saw my prototype, you loved it, you wanted a tutorial, here it is. The one thing is, and I do mention it as well, is that in the prototype I used an Aran weight, which is a 4 weight, hand-dyed cotton. So it is relatively, it's not heavy. When I put it on, I love it. It's beautifully soft. And but obviously it's much thicker. It's a 5mm hook that I'm using. With this dress, I bought the yarn. I thought it was double knit. And I explained to you why I thought that. But the point is, it's a thin 3 weight, a thin double knit. So I use a 3.25mm hook. So I wanted to recreate the big squares that was in the prototype. And I'll put pictures in here. But I love the end result. You know, now I think I might even take this up a little bit more. You know, because sometimes it doesn't fall right if it's too wide. I'm just saying, but otherwise I absolutely love the way it came out. And if you see, if I turn like this, you can see everywhere. And I think this dress I can even wear with a white, you can see I'm wearing my yellow dress underneath, but I can even wear with a sleeveless white long t-shirt and then leggings. I think, because look, you can't really, whatever you see through it, if you're wearing leggings, it's like a dress, it covers enough. Anyway, so yes, one thing I do need to mention is the widest part of my body is my hips, which means you automatically get, if your widest part of your body is your hips, you're going to get a drop shoulder like I have here. But if your shoulders is the widest part of your body, I think built like an apple, they say, or built like a pear. I'm like a pear. If you're built like an apple and your shoulders is the widest part, you're going to get, this sleeve will sit up here and you will have more room around your hips. So just, that is one thing to keep in mind. But I remember I did say this once in the tutorial as well. In the tutorial, I keep going back and forth to the prototype. Here's the prototype. This is what I did. This is what I did in the tutorial. Why? Because in the prototype I use 4 weight yarn. In the tutorial I used 3 weight yarn. You can use thinner yarn. You can use thicker cotton. I say cotton because that's what I used. You can do whatever you want. But so the whole idea is that the principle is, you can see this is just squares, right? Here, this is the most important thing here. That this is the most important square. So what you need to get right is this square size, the size of this single square. If this square is right, your whole dress is going to be right. Okay? Then another very important thing is the length of this dress. You can, now that I've made 2, you can rather make it a little bit on the short side and increase the amount of rows that I call buffer rows. And that is because the first day I wore my prototype outside, what happened was I was caught in the rain and it stretched. Now that can happen if you launder this dress wrong. Anything can happen to it and the cotton will stretch. So I did put out a short to show you how I fixed that. I took out some of the buffer rows, which is an easy trick, an easy fix, and just attached my fringes again. See? So I think go rather shorter than too long. Because I added, and you'll see this in the tutorial, I added 2 extra squares. You know, the 2 extra squares, 2 squares that we have at the back that we don't have at the front, which makes it possible for this neckline. I added at the bottom. Maybe I should not have, and maybe I should have just put the amount of rows that is there, buffer rows at the bottom, that amount of, you know, in hindsight, if I do it a third time, maybe I'll rather go with that. So consider that. And this is I would say it's a big project. Took me 6 days to do the first one. It's a very fun project, but it's 6 days for my size, 3XL. Please remember that as well all the time. Are you 1.81? Are you 6 foot? No, 5 foot something? You are going to have to make it smaller for you. This square, this very important square, will be smaller or bigger depending on your size. I'm a 3XL, which is why my square is the size it is. Make yours smaller. You can always add more rows on the side. Okay, I think I've said everything that I need to say that is really important. Personally, if I'm going to make this, I would even watch the whole tutorial before I start. You know, skip to the stages where I talk about things. I always have timestamps at the bottom before you start making it. Why? You don't want to make whatever and then say, I should have done it this way. I should have done it that way. And I think the only difference will be whether you make it longer or not, because you can make this like a top, just above your waist. You can end it here, you can end it just below your hips, you can go as long as you want. That's the thing, that's the fun thing about this. You can have more than one length. I nearly forgot to say, if you have any problems, questions, whatever, email me, put a comment in. I will respond to it as soon as I can. Usually within 24 hours I respond. If I get it in the daytime, my daytime on my phone, I will respond. Okay, let's make this project. Okay, let's talk about how you're going to approach doing this dress. This square is the most important square. That is how you're going to determine how wide your neckline is. Remember, I'm a 3XL, I'm nearly 6 foot tall. So this on my body, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's row 8, with a 4-weight hand-dyed cotton yarn, that is enough rows or rounds on that square to get the right size neckline. Now in this design, I've added these 2 little squares at the back because I want this to get to the back of my neck. And then I want it to dip and form this neckline. Now keep in mind it's hanging, so gravity's also got a role to play here. So you're going to make this square. If you're a small little 5 foot something, you make only a few squares, a few rows, less rows than me. If you are taller than me, 4XL, 5XL, the square will be bigger. So that's a very important point in this dress. Let's look at the sleeve of the prototype. You see, the sleeve is under my arm, which means here is about below the bust, waist. So you can stop it there if you want a crop top. If you want a top that goes over your jean, you can stop it there, put fringes on. But if you want the whole full-length dress, you just go as long as you want, or the dress that you are wearing underneath is going to be. Please remember that the dress can stretch. If it stretches, I've put horizontal lines. Let me just get down here and show you. I've put some horizontal lines. I've put a slit here, so I didn't close it all the way down when I closed it with single crochet. If this dress for some reason stretches a little bit, what is the remedy? I can take out the fringes. I pull out 1, 2, 3 rows maybe, 4 rows maybe, because it's only a few rows done to and fro. and then I attach the fringes again. No problem, right? It's a quick fix. Where my material dress ends is at the end of this square. So that is what I'm going to reproduce. This was my prototype. I'm going to try and reproduce this because you all saw this and you wanted a tutorial. So let's have a look at my tutorial dress. This is my yellow dress that is lying here, my sundress. So this is going to be your little dress. This is my yellow dress. It's like a t-shirt material. Your dress can be any color and whatever size. It's like a petticoat because you're going to wear it under your tunic. Now let's look at this. Why is this square the most important? Let's have a look. So let me take these two away and we're going to act as if this is the front. Let me do this. Can you see that if I stretch it a little bit, this comes quite wide on me. Obviously I've fitted this on and I must be happy with the way that this fits on my body so that I can make the decision that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds on this square, which is not a normal granny square. As you can see there, I am using 5 trebles. So if you're going to use a thinner yarn and you want to create the same effect that we had on the prototype, this is what you're going to do. And I chose 6 rounds because it not only did it fit in with my shoulders, it actually 3 and 3 is 6, which means I can fit in 2 squares that is 3 rows each. Because what am I going to do if this round is 7 rows? It creates a problem. You don't want that. I don't want to create problems. Okay, let's pull it down. And you can see I want my neck to go this low. You can see this is the real line of the dress. But this is how it fits in. You can see even the back dips a bit. It dips a bit and then it goes up to the shoulders. So the crochet dress is going to slightly differ, but it will fit beautifully. Okay, so there it is. So that's the back. The back will have this because it will come up straight. Because this dress is designed around my squares. Okay, there's my squares all the way down. My beautiful squares come all the way down. Now, on my prototype, where my dress ends there, was the end of this dress. But with this thinner yarn, I am short. So I decided to make 2 more. Now don't look at the colors because this is for sizing. I'm just trying it. So this looks better, right? This is looking better. There. So I have a big one, a second big one, a third big one. On my prototype, I have a 1, 2, 3 big squares down the front. How many small ones? 2, 4. And that's it. But as we just saw, I need 2, 4, 6. Now I'm going to add horizontal rows here. Because what did we say? To me, the horizontal rows is like a safeguard. Because if there's any stretching that's going to take place in time, if this thing is washed the wrong way or whatever, I can pull out these rows and just fix the fringes to it again. And so I've got that amount to play with, right? Eventually you can go right up to that first row. So that's my plan. I will add rows, horizontal rows up to there, and then fringes. Because to me it's important that the crochet dress is longer, even if it's only with fringes, longer than the material dress, because it is a tunic. One important thing I forgot to say is this. My body shape is like a pear shape, which means the widest part of this dress is here by the hips. Which means if your hips is the widest part, you're going to have a beautiful drop shoulder without even trying, right? My dress ends there. This is all shoulder without doing anything. But we are all built different. What if your shoulder is wider than your hips? Then it means you're going to have a dress that is sleeveless. That's okay. And it's going to be wider around the hips, which is also okay. All I want you to do is keep in mind, when making this dress, the widest part, this amount of rows here must go over the widest part. For me, it was my hips. For you, it may be your hips, but it might be your shoulders. Okay. For this tutorial, I am using 8 colors. So let me just push it a little bit to the side so we can start on the one side and end on the other. So here we go. This is called viola cotton, but it is not. It's a cotton mix. 85% cotton, 15% polyester. Now the recommended needle size is a 4 to a 5 millimeter, which makes me think this is a double knit, a 3-weight yarn. Although the hook size recommended is a 3 millimeter, which had me confused, to be quite honest, because if you look at this, I truly think this is a 3-weight true double knit yarn. It's cotton, and yes, I don't know why they recommend a 3 millimeter. I tried working in a 3 millimeter and I could not because it splits like crazy. This is what it looks like. See there, it's not so very tight, which means this really splits with a 3, which is the reason why I went for a 3.25 millimeter hook size. Now, as I say, for crochet they recommend 3 millimeter. I go for 3.25 millimeter. If you use a double knit and you want to go for a 4 millimeter, even a 4.5, that is fine. I want to say, keep in mind, if you are making this garment as long as a dress, I would go for a smaller hook rather than a larger hook. Not smaller than the recommended necessarily, but not very big, because I want the work to be nice and tight, because it's going to hang on your shoulders and gravity is going to pull on it. So if the stitches are nice and firm, that will help keep your garment, it should keep its shape better, look better for longer. Okay, so yes, what can I tell you more? It's 100-gram balls with 200 meters, which is 219 yards, and it's made in Turkey. Oh, Linda Simpson, crochet, sorry, color numbers only, no color names. She hates it when there is no color name. Why don't they take the trouble to just invent a color name? Okay, so let's come up with our own names, because wherever you are in the world, you are going to be buying your own color scheme. So color scheme I chose was this lovely cream, then like a very pale taupe or sand color, a grass green. I love the grass green, it just lights up a garment, especially summer garment. This is paler in person than it looks on the screen. I would say in person it's a sea green, light pale sea green. It looks very much turquoise, dark turquoise here, but this is a true turquoise, which looks more like royal blue on the screen. It is not royal blue. It is definitely a turquoise. Okay, there you go. Then we have a dark chocolate brown. Oh, look at this. There you see the true color. Beautiful. Then I have another 2 colors that I added to that, and this is a beautiful lavender, pale purple. Oh, and then to complement that, a very dark purple. It's definitely a purple. Can't be any other color than a purple. Whatever you see on the screen, take my word, this is a very dark shade of this. A lot darker, very dark purple. Beautiful. Now, I used 8 colors, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can use 5, 6, whatever you would like to use. As I said, we need a 3.25 millimeter, which is what I will be using. If you have a double knit and you want to use a 4 millimeter hook, 4.5, that is your decision. And this is the pair of scissors and a yarn needle that you will also use to work in all your ends. Now, what I wanted to say has gone right out of my mind. So, my apologies for that. If I remember, I will tell you. Let me just show you the prototype that I have showed you. If I've showed it to you already. If not, then I will put a picture up here. Was made with this 100% cotton Aran caress, which I believe is a hand-dyed yarn made in South Africa, Moya. There you go. Aran weight, which is a 4 weight. 5 to 5, it's a 5 millimeter hook. So I used this hook size, 5 millimeter crochet hook, when I made the prototype. Now, I used this because I had a lot of this in my stash. And I decided to make myself a crochet dress, a tunic. And I did it. But then all of you saw my crochet dress and you want a tutorial. So that's why I went and bought the yarn, which to me is a double knit. It's not as thick as this. Yes, because obviously this is much more expensive than the yarn that I have just bought, but I'm very happy with the yarn that I chose. It just shows you that you can choose more than one kind of yarn. It is all cotton, but this is a double knit and this is 4 weight. 3 weight, 4 weight. So it doesn't matter what you're going to use. You can use a 2 weight. I will show you what your granny square is going to look like, because obviously when we start working now, I put this to one side and maybe I should just get rid of some of this yarn, make space. Then we're going to get to the granny square, which is not the usual granny square. Now, when I bought this, I still wanted, this yarn was thinner, obviously, than the prototype yarn. So, I mean, look at this difference in the size of hook. Guys, hey? So, what do you do when you want a granny square to look as if it has a 4 weight yarn, but it is a 3 weight? You use trebles instead of the usual 3 double crochet cluster for your granny square. So I tested this. I'm mentioning this in case you want to try this. I did what I've once seen, and that was when you use a thinner yarn to use 4 trebles, US trebles, chain 1, 4 US trebles. But I was not happy with the result, because can you see how this square looks a little bit on the skinny side? It's like it's not properly colored in. You see, you can see gaps through there and through there. It is like, no, not filled in. So I tried 5 trebles, and look how that is. it looks like someone has, if this is a picture and you've colored it in, it looks really lovely, filled in properly, not as holy as this one. You see? So that's why if you're using a thinner yarn, I would use it in this method, which is your 5 trebles, chain 1, not 4 trebles, chain 1. And for all my crochet tutorials, I use US terminology. I always put it in my description box of a tutorial, but just in case, I just say it as a bonus. Okay, so let's start with our granny square and let's get going. There we go. We're going to start this. I'm going to show you one like this, a 3 round one. 1, 2, 3 rounds, because if you can make 3 rounds, you can make a big one like this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. Now, remember when you make yours, this is the size of mine, and I will measure it for you. Let's get a measuring tape. Oh, and that is definitely one thing I forgot to tell you to get, and that is a measuring tape. My big square is 9.5 inches, which is 24 centimeters. My smaller square is going to be, well, 2 of them should measure up to 1. So my smaller one is a 5, which is about 12.5 centimeters. But when we put them together, it's still going to be, it's going to take away of the width and length of the size. It will make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's start with our granny square, and I'm going to take my deep purple to start with. Let me just get here, and you make a slip knot any which way that you know how. This is how I know how to do it, like that. I am not making it too tight. Can you see there? It's not too tight, because this yarn splits a lot. But I find that if I don't use a 3mm hook, but a 3.25, it doesn't really give me the same problems. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'm chaining loosely. See, it's not very squished, tight chains. It's beautiful loose chains. Go into the first chain, make a slip stitch to form a ring, and then chain 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, which is equal to the height of 1 treble crochet. 3 chains is equal to the height of a double crochet. 4 chains is equal to the height of a treble crochet. So that's why we make 4 chains. Then for the corner we make 2 chains. So it's 4 plus 1, 2. So you have 6 chains. Yarn over, twice. Now we're going to go back into this loop. Let's find the ring first so I can show you. There's the ring. I'm going to take the straggler end and hold it all around the ring so that I'm working it in as I go. There's my 6 chains. Just yarn over twice. Go into the ring, grab yarn, pull up, like that. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That is your first treble crochet in US terminology. Yarn over twice. You need to make 5. So we're going back into that same ring, if you want to call it that. Yarn over twice, into the ring, grab yarn, bring it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, see this yarn wants to split, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, yarn over twice, into that loop, and yarn over, grab some yarn and pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, into that center ring, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 loops. Every time I say loop, pull through 2 is obviously what I mean. Yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops, and you've made 4 trebles. Now, yarn over twice, into the center again, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There is my first, usually I call it a 3 double crochet cluster. Now I'll have to call it a 5 treble crochet cluster that is going to make our granny square look, or make this look like a granny square. 5 trebles. Chain 2 and keep the chains kind of medium tension, not too tight. Now we're going to repeat that again. Yarn over twice through that center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. You see how it wants to split? Let me bring it closer. Bring up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, through the center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, through the center, grab yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. I've made 3 trebles. Need to make another 2. You can move it up a little bit if you want. And it's going to be yarn over twice, into the center, grab yarn on the other side, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 4th treble crochet, I need 1 more. Yarn over twice, into the center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There is my 5 treble crochet cluster, beautiful and very dense, not very skimpy. I love that. Half of our little first round is done. Chain 2 with a medium tension, not too tight on the chains, please. Yarn over twice and through the center. Last time, through the center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You can look down and just listen to what I say as you try this. Yarn over twice, go through the center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through another 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Second treble crochet done. Yarn over twice, into the center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. My third treble crochet done. Fourth treble crochet on the way, yarn over twice, through that center, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Fourth treble crochet done. Yarn over twice, through the center, grab yarn on the other side, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That is my 5 treble crochet cluster done. Chain 2 with a medium tension so that it's not too tight little chains sitting there, and we're on to our last one to complete this round. So make space, pull a little bit if you want to, no worries about that. Yarn over twice, go through the center, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, through the center, grab up yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, go through the center and pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Third treble crochet done. Now I'm going to make a fourth treble crochet, yarn over twice, through the center, bring up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I don't need a fifth treble crochet. Why? Because I've got a fake treble crochet here, which is my first 4 chains. So now I do process of elimination. If you've been following me, you know I always do that. As a beginner, it's much easier to do process of elimination than searching for the right stitch where you must put your hook in. You follow this double crochet, and that is the top of that double crochet. You need 1 and 2 chains in the corner, which brings you to this chain, which will then be the top of your fake double crochet. So you're going to make a slip stitch. So it's yarn over, and you're just going to pull through both stitches to connect. Now, let me just snip here. Just give it a nice tail. And I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and secure. Now let's look at this. It might want to make a little bulge, but now this is the time where you just shake, rattle, and roll this little square, because that's where we started out. So you're just going to make sure there is space for everything in here. For all 20, is it 5 times 4 is 20? That's our first little square. Look how beautiful beautiful you look. Now we're going to take the lovely, very dark, it's not very dark, it's just compared to the pale sea green. I call it sea green, so it gives you a better picture. We're going to take turquoise is my next color, and I'm going to make the next round with you. Make a slip knot, as you've done many times before. Not too tight. You can see it's not too tight, right? Now, the thing is, I'm battling with yarn that is splitting, but it's a beautiful yarn. And once you get in your rhythm, there's no problems really. So I do like it. Okay, let me just sort out the yarn. I've got a bit of a yarn barf. So we're going to do this round that looks like the chocolate brown. There we go. And I choose an, okay, so now look at this. As you work in your straggler end as you go, this one, when you finish, it's actually worked in. So you can just, this is one end you don't have to work in. You can just snip it off. There you go. One less end to work in. We just get rid of some things here. More space to move. Okay, I've got my slip knot on the hook. Pick an opposite corner or any other corner. Now I'm going to do the same thing through the corner. And I'm grabbing yarn, pulling it up, and I'm going to make a single crochet. There we go. Loose. I'm working a bit loose, right? Because my yarn is splitting. So that counts as one single crochet, and chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. So the single crochet and 3 chains is equal to 4 chains, which is equal to 1 treble crochet. Now 2 corner chains, 1 and 2 corner chains. Yarn over twice. Into the corner I'm going to work 5 treble crochets. So yarn over twice, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. See how it wants to split. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, through the corner, bring yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The entire granny squares front and back is this stitch, so you quickly get used to it. Yarn over twice, so we're going to pick up speed now. And it is go through, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, go through this chain space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. 4 treble crochets done. Yarn over twice, go through, grab up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 5 treble crochet cluster is done. This will be my corner when I come around here. There we go. Looks like it wants to buckle a little bit, but don't worry about it. This is a garment. It's going to hang. Gravity will sort it out or iron it out. Chain 1. You're going to always work a chain 1 space. Chain 1 space when you hop from one corner to another corner in this round. Okay. Yarn over twice. Now in the corner we're going to work 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 2, 5 treble crochet cluster. Right? So let's do that. 5 treble crochet cluster, 1 treble crochet, second treble crochet, third treble crochet,
4th treble crochet, 5th treble crochet, beautiful, chain 2, keep your tension medium, yarn over twice, in the same chain 2 space, work another 5 treble crochet cluster. There we go. And that is your first treble crochet. There we go. Second treble crochet. Third treble crochet. Fourth treble crochet. And my 5th treble crochet. Okay. If this is, if you've got the gist of it, if you're more experienced and you know how to make this, please jump ahead to the timestamps. But if you're not, you're more a beginner, follow along with me. Chain 1, yarn over, and we've done a chain 1. We're jumping to the chain 2 corner space, and we're going to work a corner like this exactly. So, okay, let me just talk out loud again, and then you just follow. Yarn over twice through the corner space, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, pull up the yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There's your 5 treble crochets done. Chain 2, keep the tension medium. In the same chain 2 corner space, work another 5 trebles. So yarn over twice through the chain space, bring up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And that's my last one I'm going to make now. Yarn over twice through the chain space, pull up yarn, corner space, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I love that it looks beautiful and neat. We're going to make a chain 1, keep the medium, tension medium, go to the corner, and you're going to work another corner. So I'm just going to work this one with you. Yarn over twice through the corner, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, first one done. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, third treble crochet, done, yarn over twice through this corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1 and 2 chains, medium tension please, not too tiny little chains. There you go. We're making progress. Now, another 5 treble crochets in the same chain 2 corner space. Yarn over, through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice in the corner space, go through, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and my last treble crochet for this corner, yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, corner is complete. Yes, success. Chain 1. Now we're going to jump to this one. As you can see, I've got a fake double crochet already there. Let me not fight with this yarn. There we go. You've already got your fake double crochet. So all I need is, to complete this corner, I need 4 more treble crochets. Yarn over twice. After I've made my chain 1, jump to that corner 2 chain space, work a treble crochet, yarn over, through the corner space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Last treble crochet to complete this round is yarn over twice. We're just going to squeeze it in there. It will go in there. Through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You see how it wants to split. And yarn over, pull through 2. Now, there is my double crochet, chain 1, then that is the chain that I need to make a slip stitch in to connect. Okay. Leave a nice edge. Yarn over, pull through, secure. Just take your 4 corners and just pull so that it all fall into place. It's beautiful and full. You see why we went for 5 with this 3 weight, why we went for 5 trebles and not 4. Can you see that this is, to me, not you can see it clearly on the light cream. They're very holy. You know, it's not as, this looks like beautifully filled in. Now the connecting color will be this light taupe, stone color, whatever neutral color you'd like to call this. But so the smaller squares, my smaller square has 3 rounds, and the 3rd round is the binding color. My bigger squares have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Round 6 is the binding color. So now the only difference is round 3, we're going to work a corner. We're going to make a chain 1. Into the chain 1 space, we're going to work our 5-treble crochet cluster. Chain 1, then we're going to jump into the next corner, work a corner, which we know by now, it is 5-treble crochet cluster, chain 2, 5-treble crochet cluster. That brings you to the next side, and as you can see with all the sides, doesn't matter how big your square is, from corner to corner, all you do is you make a chain 1, you jump into the chain 1 space, make 5 treble crochets, chain 1, like here. There's a corner, chain 1, jump to the next chain 1 space, make 5 treble crochets, chain 1, jump to the next chain 1 space, 5 treble crochets, chain 1. When you get to a corner, you know how to work a corner now. Okay, so let's do the last round that I'm going to be doing with you, which is a third round. I will be doing it in the very light turquoise, sea green. Let me not change the color name myself. Let me just get this one here. There we go. Come on. Wonderful. Sea green. Your third round for your smaller one will now be in the connecting color. I already say that, but I'm making a bigger square. You are just going to, we're going to make this third round together, and that third round is the round that you will be repeating if you make more rounds than 3. So let's get going. In any other corner, there we go. I've got my slip knot on the hook. In my chain 2 space, I'm going to make a single crochet, which is grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. I try and keep my tension loose. As you know, my yarn is splitting. That's the reason why. So that counts as a chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 4, which is my fake double crochet. Chain 2 for the corner, and I'm keeping these chains loose. Can you see? Yarn over twice, and I'm going to work 5 treble crochets in that corner space. So I'm going to pick up speed here, and that is 1 treble crochet, second treble crochet. Now because it's split, let me just, I don't want it to split. If it splits, I do it a stitch over because it must look nice. It's going to be a garment. Yarn over twice. I don't want to confuse you here but when I do something over, but I have to do it over if it splits on me. Second treble crochet, yarn, there we go. Third treble crochet. Fourth treble crochet. And my fifth treble crochet. Beautiful. Chain 1. Jump to the chain 1 space and work 5 treble crochet cluster. Yarn over twice. There you go. Let's get cracking. 1 treble crochet, 2 treble crochet, 3 treble crochet, 4 treble crochet, 5 treble crochet. And that's the end of that cluster. Beautiful. Chain 1, jump into the corner and work a corner like many other corners. 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 2, 5 treble crochet cluster. There is my end of the previous round. I'm just going to hold it so that I actually work over it. One treble crochet, 2 treble crochet, 3 treble crochet, 4 treble crochet, 5 treble crochet, 1, 2 chains, medium tension please. Just pull it a little bit to one side if there's not enough space, because we are working 10 stitches in a 2 chain space. Make another 5 treble crochet cluster, 1 treble, second treble, third treble, fourth treble, fifth treble. There we go. Lovely. You see how that is worked in there? Beautiful. Now when I work the end in, I just go once and twice again. Chain 1. Now you're going to do what we did here. You're going to jump into the chain 1 space, work your 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 1. In the corner, you're going to work your 5 treble crochets, chain 2, 5 treble crochets. And I will see you at the end of this round. So I've come to the end of this round and I've ended it off like I've ended off all the previous 2 rounds. Yarn over and secure. So you can see there is a chain 1. Jump to the chain 1, make my 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 1, jump to the corner space, work my 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 2, 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 1, jump to the chain 1 space, work my 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 1, jump into the corner space, work a corner, which we know is my 5 treble crochet cluster, chain 2, 5 treble crochet cluster. And that's how you just go round and round until you get to the end, which has the fake double crochet, which means you're only going to work 4, my apologies, not a double crochet. I'm so used to saying double crochet. Treble, because it's 4 chains. You work your 4 treble crochets, and that added to that fake treble crochet is 5, and then you just slip stitch into your top of your fake treble crochet to connect. There is 3 rounds. Now all the 3 round squares, as you see when I show you, if I did not show you already, the layout on the bed, I will put a photograph up how I laid it out, because I've now made the amount of squares I need for the front and for the back. So the next step is going to be, I'm finishing this one. It has to look like this one. You can see here. Wait, let's be neat and tidy. I'm busy with this one. I need to make another dark brown round a cream round, and then the binding color. So I need to do 2 more rounds and then the binding color round. Then I have completed the amount of squares that I need to make for my front panel of the dress and the back panel of the dress. Then we need to start and put them together with a single crochet connecting method. Why? Because it's a very sturdy crochet connecting method, especially on a garment. We will be working on the wrong side of the garment for this wearable because we don't want it as a feature. We want it to be flat where it is connected. So that is our next step. So let me go ahead and just finish these 3 rounds and then we are going to start putting them together. I will insert a picture here of how once I finished all my squares, the amount of squares I needed, I laid out on my yellow dress for the front and I laid out for the back. So you can see what it looks like. And now I'm going to show you how to put these, how to connect the squares. Okay, so I take my binding color and I make a slip knot on the hook. Now this is my way of doing it. I take 2 small squares, wrong side up, and I put them together like this. There we go. Everything aligns. Cluster, cluster, cluster. On this side, cluster, cluster, cluster. Wrong side up, wrong side up. The 2 right sides facing. And I start this way. Slip knot on the hook. Oh my goodness, I cannot run out of English now. In the corner, both corners, through both corners, I make a single crochet. Right, now I have 5 trebles. That's my chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is my first top of the treble I go through. And I go through both. You can see the V. This is yarn that splits, but you can see the V. See that V? Go through both. Now find the corresponding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one. Because it's easy, very easy, there, to miss the correct one. So, first one, yarn over, pull through, and just make a single crochet. The second one, and the second one, yarn over, pull through. Did I say yarn over, pull through? It's a single crochet. So the third one, I see that I've got the V. The third one, I've got the V. It is grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through. That is a single crochet. So there we go. Through both, and through both. It is grab yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both. Not too tight. Keep the same tension, or try, as you've had throughout this. Because believe me, if you make the squares on different times, because of tension, they can, my apologies. When you get to the chain 1 space, just go through both chain 1 spaces. There we go. Yarn over, pull through both. Okay, so let me just say, if you make your squares and you make one today and you're a bit more tense than tomorrow, your square might be slightly smaller because of tension only because of tension. So try and do it in the same mood, or and let me just show you. Okay, so this is how you're going to connect it, right? We are going to block this dress. Just let me tell you this. We will block it, the center, because we want it to be very neat. Look at this. I want to show you this. It might look unneat, but this square and this square are connected, these two small ones, in the same way I am connecting this. But I look at it and I'm like, is this square bigger than this square? If so, why? I cannot find a reason, because both is treble crochet, treble crochet. Both is the same amount of stitches. So the only thing I can say, obviously this is something you fix when you block it, but it is mood, I was more relaxed when I did this square than when I did that square. So it's a very slight slight difference in size, but still it is there. Okay, so let's just continue like this. So that is what you're going to do to the end of this. One in every stitch. In the chain stitch, just go through, yarn over, and you do your single crochet. Then line up, first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always see that I'm in the fifth one. There, both of them. You've got them. Not too tight. Second one, second one. Yarn over, pull through. Oh, you see, it just wants to split. There you go. Beautiful, and so easy, so quick. We are at the end here already. So I do my last one, last treble, last top of the treble, not last one. And then there's 2 chain in the corner. I just do 1 single crochet in the corner. There you go. Because obviously 1 chain looks this way and the other chain that way. It will apply to whatever is attached there, and what is the one is applies to what is attached on this side. There we go. And scissors. Snip. Yarn over and pull through and secure. You're not going anywhere. Slightly pull. Okay. Now, you can, sometimes I just iron with my hand a little bit, You just coax it where you want it to be. Come on, baby. This way. Come. There we go. See? Look how beautiful you look. Gorgeous thing. Okay, there we go. Now, I need to connect my big square to this one. So we need to make, there is going to be a little bit of, a bit tricky. Okay, so right side up, fold it over, because we're going to work wrong side up, wrong side up, right? If you fold it over, the 2 wrong sides are on the outside. There you go, and yarn over and slip knot on the hook, like so many times before. Go to the corner like we just did, just like that. Through the corner space, grab yarn, pull up, make a single crochet. There we go. Now, going to do the same here. First treble, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is my first. Go through. There we go, single crochet. And then after that, just see that all the V's line up, so that you make sure you've got all the stitches on the hook. That should be on the hook. There you go. And again. Rather slower and a beautiful end result than too fast and you have to pull it out. In the chain one space, just go right through and a single crochet. Doesn't help if your connection method is extremely tight or that the tension is tighter than it was when you crocheted the squares. This single crochet method is beautiful and strong because you're making a garment. It is, well, a dress. I'm making a dress. Maybe you're just making the top part as a top. But I'm making a dress, and this is going to help its structure. It's going to help it keep its shape and hang beautifully on your body without losing shape and looking shabby, which is what I do not want. Because I'm overweight, curvy girl. Believe me, I need all the style and help I can get. So, the last thing I need is a tent. These slim girls can wear anything, they look pretty, but no, I find if I want to look pretty, I need to see that something fits beautifully. Must fit, yeah, there's no other word. Must fit beautiful. Okay, now, tricky part coming up. And I'm still, there's the fifth one and the fifth one. The chain 2 space, and I'm just going through that chain space, but there's the 3 and the 3. But now I need to see that my second chain space here needs to go through that same chain space there. So both stitches are going to go through there. So make sure of this once you've joined 2 little squares and you're joining it to a big square, just make sure that the center you have, there's one chain, go through the same one chain there, make a single crochet. Beautiful. Nice. Now you just continue like you were. First treble crochet and first treble crochet. There we go. Yarn over, pull through, treble, treble, the 2 tops, single crochet, just connect them, the third, all the corresponding ones. It feels beautiful to get to this stage of the project because you're actually starting to put something together before we do our vertical rows. There we go. Don't want it to split. Don't split on me. Let me just check. I rather double check to see that it's not splitting. If you're working whatever yarn you're working with, thinner, thicker, if it's not splitting, just be so grateful. Okay, I'm just going to continue like this to the end here, which is how you know it ends, right? Correspond all the way to the end. Let's just show you what we did here. Can you see there's 2? 1, 2 in the center one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But here is 2. Why? Because there is 2, a chain 1 space and a chain 1 space. 2 chain 1 spaces that must go into 1. If you fold it open, just as I say, coax it down a bit with your fingers. That is enough. Like that. See, it lies beautifully. It's just waiting for your coaching. I see you at the end of this row. There we go. So I finished that. Can you see it looks a bit rounded? Don't worry about that. It will straighten out. As long as your stitch counts, everything is right. That is the least, not really a problem. It's in the blocking it goes out. Your stitch counts just need to be right. Okay, so in the order that you laid it out, which I can show you the photograph again, whatever you had for the front, go and connect all the front panel squares. Put it aside, take all the back panel squares, connect them, put it to one side. Then I will come meet you back here again when we connect the front and the back, because I'm going to show you how to do the neckline. Okay, so I'm in another room on another bed, but that's how it goes if you have limited working space. Just have a look at these squares are now connected. There you go, there you go. Now remember what they looked like before we connected them? There was more space down here. Now, gravity has already started doing its job, which means, look, it's on the hem nearly, right? So I'm going to keep that in mind to determine if I'm just going to do 2 rows of horizontal here and instead of whatever. So that is what you keep in mind as well when you are planning and you're making your dress. If you make a dress, if you decide to make a long as a dress, remember it ended about, let me just bend here, about that far. And I thought I'll have to put in however many horizontal rows, and that did not now work out like this because I have, you see how well it's connected? Beautiful and everything, but it's a little bit stretched vertically. You can see that already. Now that will happen because gravity is going to pull it down a little bit, and we're going to put single crochet up here to give it a strength, a structure, because we want to help these squares. Guys, we're going to help you. Help is on the way. We're going to help you stay in shape. Okay, so when you are planning, all I'm saying is this is one of the factors that can change your design or influence your design, to say not as many horizontal rows, or don't add the 2 squares at the bottom. Just add your horizontal rows here with fringes, and that's enough. See? Just keep that in mind. There you go. There we go. I have connected the front and the back panels. This is actually, the front panel is lying on the back panel. So if I pull it this side, you can actually see the front is lying on the back. So what we're going to do is, this is the back panel, this is the front, as you saw on the bed how they're lying now. So we're going to connect with a little chain, connect to the back, go down all the way, and then we have to do the same here. Go all the way up, and then at this point, create a connection to the back and go all the way down at the back of the garment. And in that way, the front and the back will be connected. Then we can start with our rows. There we go. Now this, I don't have enough space here, but this is the bottom, which I just showed you on the bed, and this is the bottom. So I've got the bottom of the 2 panels here in front of me, the one on top of the other one. Now I'm just going to, this is the, let me just see. This is the front panel, and I know that because it doesn't have 2 small squares at the top. So I just want to take the other panel and put it to one side, but I don't want to be confused. Obviously, if you've got bigger workspace, great for you. Now, I'm going to choose the light lavender because to me that is very close to this, what do you call, stone color, sand color. And okay, now I don't want to just go up all the way over the shoulder and down. I want to make this a smooth edge. Obviously, where the two connect, it's not smooth, but I want to make it smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way and start in this corner, which is, if I had this dress on, this would be the front right hand bottom corner, and I'm going to work alongside the hem. So let's work alongside the hem. So we're going to, in the very right hand corner, make a single crochet, and we're just going to work in every stitch a single crochet, just like that. Single crochet. Beautiful. Not too tight, because our stitches are trebles. They might have a tendency to want to make a little bubble, or how do you say? Yes, it's not as, because it's tall. If it was shorter, no problem. But don't worry, once the dress is finished, you won't have that problem, because this will be a garment that hangs down your body, so it's fine. When you get to the one chain space, just make a single crochet in that one chain, and there we go. Just work this beautiful lavender all along and create a beautiful smooth edge. Single crochet. Wait, you see, just every stitch must be the same, not some big and some small. Just try and work neat. I must even tell myself. And there, this yarn splits a little bit. If it does, I just take it and do this. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I know some people really cannot stand working with yarn that splits. As long as the end result is beautiful, I'm fine with whether it's split or not. And as I say, I say I'm fine, but I went up a quarter hook size so that it does not split, really. Because trying to work with a number 3 as recommended was just going to be very painful. There we go. And then in that chain 1 space, and I'm going to take that end and work it in. Not work it in, hold it along the hem so that I work it in as I go. Then I hop to the next chain 1 space, like that. See, like that. And then in that first stitch, tension is important. Don't let it be too tight, too loose. Well, I say that because I'm working with a yarn that is using a thin hook. All right, so I see you on the, oh, there's a little bit corner here. So that is the hem that I've now worked. You see there, that looks much neater. Beautiful. I get to the chain 2 space in the corner, and I am working 1 single crochet, a second single crochet, and I'm just keeping my straggler end there that I'm working in. And then now I'm going up on the, if I had the dress on, this would be the left side that is coming up to my shoulder. So I'm just going to continue like this, and now I can get rid of my straggler end there. Wait, let me just work another 2 stitches further before I do that. So I've worked in this one end as I went. So I'm not there is 2 stitches in the corner. When we come back, the second stitch, 1, 2. The first stitch, which will then be the first stitch, is where we will start, right? So I can even put a stitch marker in that stitch so I can remember. There we go. Stitch marker in that stitch. There's my 2 corner stitches. The one points down and the other one points to my left. So that's where my corner stitch, not corner stitch. If this is the hem, like this, I'm going to be working rows up and down here. Okay, let's get rid of this little end, which I've worked in as I go. Pick up the stitch again and just work a nice neat row of single crochet as I go. In the chain 1 space, make a single crochet, and in every stitch a single crochet. Just keep going until we get to where this panel ends on the one side, at the end of the side. And again, when you get here, you're going to do the same here where the connection is between 2 squares. You're going to do the same as here. You work in on top of every treble crochet, 1 in the 1 chain space, and then 1 in the next 1 chain space. No chains extra or nothing. Just making a very neat border, shall we call it. Okay, here we are now. I'm at the end. Not at the end. I say at the end. Don't talk so loosely. There we go. This is the neckline. Front neck. So I've come up. If I had the dress on, this would be my front left. And I've reached the corner here. I'm going to go into this corner and I'm going to make 1 single crochet. I'm not going around here because this we will do at another time. What we are going to do is to connect this front panel to the back panel. And how we do that is to make as many stitches as there are on a small, this is the small square. So you're going to count your first chain, your 5 treble crochet stitches, which is 1 plus 5 is 6, your chain, well, every stitch. So let's count every stitch from the first chain, the 5, chain 1, 5, chain 1, 5, and then 1. So that is 19 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That corner stitch and that corner stitch. There we go. I want you to be very sure. This is the small square. The side of a small square is going to be from the back of your shoulder to where your neckline starts. So that is the amount of stitches you're going to make. So I'm going to make 19 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. That's 19. Now, I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing here, but on the back panel. Let me just move so I have more space so I can show you. So this is the top of the back. This is the top of the back. I just say that so you orientate yourself. This is the front neckline. I've made 19 chains, which is equivalent to one small square side. Now I've made my 19 chains. Please see to it that your chains are nice and even, because when you do it on this side, this is your garment, you want this side to be, if it's tight chains on this side and loose on this side will be smaller than this side. You do not want it to be lopsided. So go slow, keep your tension nice and steady. You did your 19 chains. Okay, and let me interrupt myself at this point to say, if you are working with a thicker yarn and you are making plain double crochets and not trebles, then your 3 double crochets in your thicker cotton would be 1 stitch plus 3, 1 stitch plus 3, 1 stitch plus 3, and 1 stitch, right? So it's 12 plus 1 is 13. That's what it would be if you have normal size double crochets. But we have 5 trebles, which forms a cluster. Whereas in a normal double crochet granny stitch, 3 double crochets forms a cluster. Just keep that in mind. When you're determining how many stitches, it needs to be equal to the side amount of stitches of one small square. If I'm repeating myself, forgive me. Rather too many times than too little. There is 2 chains in the corner. I'm starting in the second chain. Why? Because the second chain face this way, that chain face this way. So I need to make sure I'm working on the side. So I can work through that stitch, or I can just work through the corner 2 chain space and make a single crochet and another single crochet, and I'm going to continue what I've been doing like that. Now it's connected. It's connected. I'm going to continue doing exactly what I've been doing here. All along, all the way down my back. I'm going down the back on my left. If I had this dress on, this would be at the left side of my back. All the way down the back, all the way down, all the way down. When I get to the bottom, I'm going to go around the corner, and I'm only going to work 2 single crochets in the corner, all the way around the bottom, right? This will be my back bottom hem. And then I'm going to go up my right hand side back, all the way until I get here. Then we're going to repeat this process of connecting 19 chains. But I will see you when I get to I'm only going to continue down the side, and I'll see you when I get to the bottom corner. There we go. So now I've reached the back bottom hem. So I've done, look, you see there, this is the small square, the big square, where they meet. Just confirming again, 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space. It's not a chain 1 space, it's a chain 2 corner space. But remember, when we connected them, we used up 1 space that is facing this way. Now we're using the space that is facing that way. Okay, the same here in this corner. I'm going to put 1 and 2 in the chain 2 space, 2 single crochets. But just to be clear, the first chain, that one belongs, is where I'm going to put my, if this is the first stitch or the last stitch of the side panel. So let's just put a stitch marker there so that we know this stitch is where we end. And then this stitch shows to the hem, the bottom. And then you just continue working your single crochets, not too tight, not too loose. Very good tension here. This single crochet round is giving fantastic support to the center front and center back panel of granny squares. Let me call it granny squares because we are imitating granny squares. There we go. Continue, and when I am going on this side, when I get to the side here, I make my two single crochets. The single crochet that faces to the bottom hem will not get a stitch marker. The second single crochet that faces to the side will get a stitch marker so that I know that is again where it ends, because this will become the end here. Okay, see you there. I'm just going around the corner with you. That was the bottom hem, and as I come up the side here, the first single crochet, single crochet is going to be facing the bottom. The second single crochet faces the side. To me, that is the one, because look, doesn't look like it's facing that way, does it? But it will, it should. There we go. And now I'm going up the side. Beautiful. I love this color. You could even have made this round the same color as this binding color. Nothing stops you. I just prefer this to me this color, this lavender is very close to this. I think so. So yeah, that is what made me decide what I did not want a contrast color. I wanted a color that is close to this, but that won't stand out, which is why I didn't use the cream, because I literally just want to give some support and structure. There we go. Beautiful. Like that. Single crochet all the way you're doing. And just now look at all this little ends that need to be worked in. I'm working over that end, a single crochet, jumping to this one, a single crochet, and I'm just going to hold those two ends and work along like that. Single crochet just right over them. So it's less to work in the end. Perfection. And at some point I can just see there. I love that. There we go. Less to work in. So just keep going. Now we're going up the right hand side, let me see, is up the right hand side, my right hand side back up to my shoulder, so where we're going to cause a connection again, and then I will meet you there. There we go. Let me just get rid of this. We have reached this point here where we need to connect again. So this is the back right hand side. We're going over the shoulder now to the front. So I am making 1 single crochet in the corner, then 19 beautiful stitches, all the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now I'm going into this corner and I'm simply going to make a single crochet in, there's a 2 chain space in the 1 chain that points to the side, and I continue what we've been doing, and that is working my single crochet. Right, see, because my yarn split, I have to just be looking carefully at what I'm doing. I want it to look neat. Okay, so let's have a look. Right side facing up. I am only going to work on the right side. So we are going to start at the bottom, work up all the way over the shoulder, down the front to the bottom, bind off the yarn. Then turn the garment and go from the front all the way up over the shoulder, down the back to the end, bind off the yarn. Turn the garment, pick another color. You can do your rows in different colors, but I want to do what is done on this side must be done on this side. So you do 1 row on this side, do a row on this side. You do what you want to do, but the reason why I did it like that is because I don't want to run out of a color and then end up with a lot of dark colors on this side and many light colors on this side. Well, maybe you want to use that as a feature, then do it. But I want to actually keep the darker colors for more on the outside, and hey, maybe it makes you or me look more trim, hey? It's like wearing a dress that has black on the side and white in the middle, so it looks like you're slimmer than you are. Little tricks of the trade. Anyway, so that is what I'm going to try, but we will get to that. This is just showing you what we've done here. We've connected. So obviously we'll be working into this. That is why this had to be very neat stitches. The thing about the neck, I probably have said it. If I'm repeating myself, forgive me. It can rather be slightly too big than too small. If it's slightly too big, we can always work another round in here to make it a bit smaller. But if it's too small, there is no remedy. I mean, too small is too small. Can't get your head through. So there you go. Continue right to the end where there is no more of these single crochets, and then we start working on the sides, working out the actual dress, because we've now finished, well, nearly finished. We will do the neck later, the front and back panels. So I've reached the end. This is the front bottom again where we started. This is the right side down. So just have a look here. I am going to make, there is one single crochet in that corner where we started, right? So now I'm going to put my second single crochet in the corner to complete it. But look at the way that I'm going to end off. I am not, let me just bring it closer. That's the single crochet where we started. And that's the second single crochet right there. Now, for some, can you see if I tilt this like that this stitch will fall over this stitch if I work into the next stitch, and that's what I want. I want a smooth, seamless connection. So I'm going to go into the, not the first single crochet that was created in the corner, in the next one. There we go. And I'm going to make a slip stitch. There you go. So it goes over that. Okay, let's just cut. Yarn over and secure. So the one that I made, okay, this one we can pull, we can work this one in neatly afterwards. See how that works out. So now the one that I made, that one points to the side, which is where I will put in my, I put my stitch marker in to mark that that is the one that I should work into. Right? Like that. This is the one that I just made, and that's the one that covered the one that shows to the bottom. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to, so all the time I work on this garment, because it's a long strip, all the way up the front, over the shoulders, all the way down the back. It's like this long, long rectangle. So every time I work on it, what I do is when I get to the front bottom, I just move to the corner here, work all the way up the garment, over the shoulder, down, and then hop from the one corner to the other, and then up, over the shoulder, down. See? So I'm not going to rush back to the beginning of this row. We are only working on the right side here. So what I'm going to do next is I want to add a little bit more. So now we've added single crochets, which made this a beautiful straight edge. Everything is beautifully rounded off. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to look rounded off. Now I want to add a little bit of strength, which means I'm going to add a single crochet row, not a round, from the bottom here, all the way up over the shoulder and down to the other end where my stitch marker is. And then you bind off. And then you do the same on the other side. Okay, so, and this is how we're going to continue. If I do a row, work a crochet row on this side, bottom, all the way up, over the shoulder, down to the other side, cut my yarn, then I stop and I move to this side of this long triangle, or the front and back panel, and I do the same on this side. I go back to this side, I add a row, I go back to this side, I add a row. And the reason for that is once you've added X amount, you need to try it on. So it's best if it's both sides is worked the same for you to get an idea how many more rows do I need to continue to work on the side until it goes around my body, or the widest part of your body, whether that is the hip or the shoulder whatever the widest part of your body is, stomach, it must go over that part. So that's what you want. Okay, so let's start here. I'm going to choose this light sea green, my sea green, again because I don't want a dark color. So now I find best, I make a single slip stitch, and I'm going to take out that stitch marker because I want to see where that stitch is. I put my hook in there and I take the stitch marker out and I make a single crochet. Oh, for goodness sake, a single crochet. Yarn over and pull up. That is my first stitch. Let me quickly put my stitch marker right back so I can see. That's my first stitch. And I'm going to work single crochets all the way up here. Just beautiful. And I will meet you at the shoulder of this dress where the neckline is, so you can see what we're going to do when we get to the neckline. This is a beautiful stitch. It is the smallest stitch except for slip stitch and chain, but it's very sturdy. It gives structure. It does not stretch much. I mean, this stitch is not going anywhere. It's not like these stitches that can stretch. So that's what you need. You need structure. And we're going to give it to this dress. It must hang beautifully and look pretty for many years to come. Okay, go all the way up. I see you on the shoulder. Okay, I've come right up to the side here. This is our connection that we made. Now I want you to do the following. Remember, if your square was as big as my square, you'll have the same amount of stitches. If your square was smaller, whatever the side of your smaller square is the amount of stitches here, and in my case it was 19. So now I'm going to just work in the one loop, like that. See, I'm going to leave a loop on the side. And I'm going to carefully work 19 single crochets. Make sure that I have all 19, like this. There we go. See, that is how we add structure there. So you're just going to go and work your 19. And you just continue up to there. So my last one, if you're unsure, look at the top because the V is the top of a stitch. So in that stitch, I will put my hook through. In the stitch before that one, I will put it through like that. Because you need 19 stitches. There we go. Let's just do this. Don't rush. Rather slower and correct. And of course, I've got my splitting yarn problem, which to me is not a problem, but it is when you're on camera. There we go. I'm just doing it here with you. There we go. Beautiful and neat. I just always think I will be wearing this, so it better look neat. There we go, like that. And the last one. Then I count quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Now after this row of single crochet, I suggest you count the stitches on this side from stitch marker to stitch marker, and you count the stitches on the other side, stitch marker to stitch marker. They must be the same. If there is, say, one stitch difference, now then you have to decide to in the next round, um, in the next row that we're going to do, are you going to increase one stitch or decrease one stitch to get them to be the same? Because you obviously can imagine that if one side has one stitch extra and then maybe in a few rows you make a mistake and it has a second stitch extra, and if you repeat the mistake, you're going to have one side that is longer or bigger than the other side, and you don't want that. So it's important to see that your stitches are the same on both sides. Okay, so continue right to the end where the stitch marker is, and I will see you there. Okay, so I've come up to the end here, single crochet. This is my end, work in that. Well, it marks the last stitch, whether it looks like it or not. The single crochet, the second one shows to the bottom. The one I'm working into shows to the side, and that is what matters here. I've already cut my yarn, so it's yarn over, pull through, and secure. Right, so obviously that's where it's going to end. I don't have to move this marker. Okay, so what we're going to do now is work all the way up here. I'm going to do something a little bit different now than I normally do. Usually I make a slip knot on the hook, and then I make a single crochet to start off with. And if it's a double crochet that I want, I make the single crochet chain 2. But in this case, not, because I think it makes it bulge a little bit. And I don't want that. So I'm merely going to take it, put my hook through the first stitch, and pull yarn through, and make my first chain of 3 chains. 1, 2, 3 chains, which is a double crochet in the fake double crochet, stand in double crochet. Next one, I'm going to work a proper double crochet. Now when I do that, I'm going to put my stitch marker in the top of the 3 chains, so that I know when I start out again that that is my starting stitch. It just helps to keep your edge nice and neat if you remember where to start and stop. And these two on the wrong side, I will just make a little knot so that it is tight. Not too tight, not to pull in my 3 chains, just so. There we go. Okay. So that's how we start. 1, 2, 3 chains is a double crochet. In the next stitch, I work a double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, work a double crochet in the next one, and chain 1. And remember that the chain 1 is filling the space of a double crochet, so don't make the chain 1 tight, otherwise this whole row will pull in. We don't want that. We want our work to be beautifully even. Skip 1, work a double crochet in the next stitch. So chain 1, skip 1, work a double crochet in the next stitch. There we go. See how it wants to pull in? That's why you must make sure that your chains is not tiny little chains. So continue right to the end of this row. Okay, so we're back here for the next row. Remember, if you've done this row, you go and do it on the other side as well. And I'm just want to see where my next stitch is. Okay, and you see this is habit to have a slip knot on the hook. Take it out because it makes a little bulge in this case, which I don't want. So put my hook through there, pull up a stitch, and I make 3 chains, which is my fake double crochet. Now I'm going to skip the next stitch, and in the chain 1 space I'm going to make 2 double crochets. And let's just do this. As I do this, I mark that stitch. 1 chain, 2 chains, 3 chains, so that I know where my last stitch is. 2 double crochets in that chain 1 space. Hop over to the next chain 1 space and make your 2 double crochets like this. Hop over to the next chain 1 space and make your 2 double crochets. Now let me just explain. We need to keep the stitch count the same. So this stitch is the same as that. The fact that I'm working 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space, which means it accounts for the double crochet and the chain 1. The double crochet and the chain 1 is worked in these 2. Double crochet and the chain 1 is worked in these 2. So that when you get to your last stitch, say this is your last stitch, your double crochet and your chain 1, you work 2 double crochets. Then you're going to go to your last double crochet and you're going to work a double crochet. Just a double crochet on top of that double crochet, so that the stitch count is the same and it all works out. See? Okay, so this is my next row. As you can see, you can change these rows any which way you want. You can just make it a row of plain double crochets, which is of course a yarn eater if you're making a dress my size. So I'm going to try and limit the rows that, like this row, that actually, this is actually equal to a double crochet in every stitch, which is a yarn eater for the amount of stitches I have to work. So I'm going to try and work some more of these little window stitches to save a little bit of yarn. But there you go. Just continue the rest of this row right to the end and then work the same row on the other side. Okay, we've come to the end of this row. Now remember I said that 2 stitches count for the double crochet and the chain 1, and then 2 for the double crochet chain 1, and then 2 in the space which counts for the double crochet and the chain 1, and then in the last stitch we just work a double crochet. Lovely. There we go. And remember I said that when I'm not working in front of the camera, what I do is I just simply turn my work like this, because you end off here, turn my work, start on this side all the way to the end. When I get to the end, like I did here, I just turn to the next side, because that is easier to just do it that way. There we go. Love it. Love how it's coming out. Remember that the stitch count on this side and the stitch count on this side should be the same. left and right stitch count should be the same. So now you're just going to continue working rows in the different colors that you have. Um, you can work rows like this with uh, double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, or you can work in the chain one space 2 double crochets, or you can just work a double crochet in every stitch, whatever suits you best. Okay, so I'm going to continue to my next row. So the next color I've chosen is this sea green. I think it would look lovely next to this very dark chocolate brown. There is my stitch marker so that I know where I should go in. Okay, there you go. And I'm not making a slip knot on the hook as I always do, because I said I want this to be a smooth edge. So I'm taking out the stitch marker, putting in my hook, my apologies. Pull up a stitch, make 3 chains, 1, come on, 2, 3 chains. Now let me just search for the stitch marker that fell. Got it. 1, 2, 3. So in goes my stitch marker into the 3rd chain. Come on. There you go. Beautiful. And now I'm going to take this end and hold it along and work it in as I go, because the next row I want, because it's still close to our squares, I want the first few rows to be supportive, which means not too many gaps closer to the body. So there you go. So I'm going to work a double crochet in every stitch. There you go. And a double crochet in the next stitch. And a double crochet in the next stitch. Beautiful color. I love this color. It looks turquoise, but I tell you, it is at least 3 shades paler in reality. But this makes a beautiful, I know it's plain double crochet, but I love how it's looking. If you want to put in rows of single crochet or half double crochet, go for it. Nothing is stopping you. For those of you who are more advanced, or maybe I'll make the next row a half double crochet just to show you. But this is a row of double crochet in every stitch. Good opportunity as well to count your stitches to see that it's the same amount of stitches on the left as it is on the right. Okay, I see you. I'm going to do right up to the end, and then I'll do the other side as well. So I'll see you once I've done both sides. There we go. I've come to the end of that row. Now I do the other side, and then we start on the next color. That is where our first stitch must be. Now I'm just taking out my stitch marker. Like that. Not, usually I put a slip knot on my hook. I don't do it this time. I just make 1 chain. And then I make a half double crochet in the same stitch. like that. Now I'm going to put, there is my stitch, my first stitch. I just mark it. And a half double crochet, for those who don't know, it is like a double crochet, so it's yarn over. You go through your stitch, grab yarn, pull up. You have 3 on the hook, and then you just pull through all 3. And my yarn is splitting. And that's all you do. But it is lovely and sturdy. Sturdy stitch. Like that. Move to the center here. Yarn over, through all, yarn over, grab some yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 stitches on the hook, all 3 loops on the hook. So that's your half double crochet. Lovely sturdy stitch. That's your double crochet and that's your half double crochet. So that is what this row is going to be. Full of half double crochet. Yarn over, pull through. I've got 3 on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. It's just difficult with my yarn that splits. Yarn over, pull, go through, pull yarn up, 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So continue right to the end of this row. The next row is going to be the same as the green. I am repeating a row of double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. So let me just get to my first stitch and pull it out, insert the hook and do my 3 chains. 1, 2, 3 chains and the next stitch a double crochet. And then just insert 1, 2, 3 there in that. So we can see this is indeed where it starts. And wait, then I'm going to chain 1, skip 1 and a double crochet in the next one. If you doubt, then just look at the top for the V's. If you ever doubt which stitch goes where. My problem is just that I'm working with yarn that's split. As I say, it doesn't bother me, but it's not good viewing. There you go. Chain 1, skip 1 in the next one. In the next stitch, work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 in the next stitch, work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 in the next stitch, work a double crochet. Wait, see it splitting? There we go. Chain 1, skip 1 and right through, make a double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Continue like that. Finish this row. Do the row on the other side as well. We are making progress. There I've ended with a double crochet, and then there was only one stitch left, so I made another double crochet. Lovely. So now I'm going to do the next row. There we go. This is growing. There's my first stitch, and I am going to put my hook right through there. Wait, I've got to take that out. It won't fit, but I need to see where I'm going to put my hook in. Right there. And one chain, a second chain, and a third chain. And then in that third one, I just put my stitch marker. Come on. There we go. And then in the next stitch, a double crochet, like that. And then in every stitch, a double crochet. So in the chain one, I put a double crochet, and then in the top of the double crochet, I put a double crochet. And this is a beautiful turquoise, looking absolutely marvelous. Beautiful color to work with. There we go. So this is my next row. Will look like this. You can just continue and work your double crochets. The next row I'm going to make, let's just take away that. Don't make a slip knot like I usually do. And we make 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. And then in the next stitch, a double crochet, 1 double crochet, and let me just insert the stitch marker again there. 1, 2, 3, so that I know where the top of my 3 chains are, my fake double crochet. Then I make 1 chain, skip 1, and in the next stitch a double crochet, and in the next stitch a double crochet. And this is going to be the little pattern for this row. Chain 1, skip 1, and then I work 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and a double crochet in the next stitch. And you just continue right up to the end of this row, and then I see you back here for the next row. There we go. And the next row I start in the 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, and I make 3 chains, which is my fake double crochet, a double crochet in the next stitch, and let's just quickly insert the, there we go. Now I'm going to put a double crochet in every stitch. Now you've done this before, you've done so many double crochets, so just go ahead and work a double crochet in every stitch. One on the top of each of the 2 double crochets, and when you get to the 1 chain space, you just work it around the 1 chain space, just like that. And just continue the entire row, and when you've done this side, you do the other side, and I will see you again back here. There we go. There, and I'm going to make 3 chains just as I did previously, and a double crochet, like that. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Easy peasy. The rows that have a double crochet in every stitch is supportive, but yarn eaters, if you're making a dress, this is lovely. I like using these stitches, little window stitches. So there you go. It is double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. I see you at the end of this row. There we go. Now we do the same 3 chains in the beginning that we've been doing. 1, 2, and 3. Now, okay, let me just put the stitch marker in again. What I want to do is, in the top of the double crochet, remember we must keep the stitch count the same. So there's a double crochet in the chain 1. That's 2 stitches. So what I want to do is, in the top of the double crochet, I want to work 2 double crochets. You'll see what it looks like now, especially if I use a darker color and the next one is this pale lavender. So I've made 2 stitches. So that's the first and the second. So in the top of this double crochet, I need to do the same, you know, for the stitch count to be the same. 1 and 2. Skip a stitch, and in the top of the next double crochet, work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's equal to there. That's the equal amount of stitches. So when you get to the last stitch and you've worked on top of the double crochet, to the last double crochet, if that is the last stitch, you're not going to work two double crochets, you just work one, because if I work on top of the double crochet, it counts for this one and the next one. The 2 double crochets I make on top of this one counts for 1 and 2, but I'm only working in the 1. So if you make 2 double crochets in the last double crochet, you would effectively increase 1 stitch in this row, and you don't want to do that. So don't do that. Okay, let me just do it one more time. I think it looks pretty, especially if it's a dark color and a light color. On top of every double crochet, 2 double crochets, except for the last one in the row. That should just be a, if this was the last stitch, then you're just going to jump over that chain 1 and make 1 double crochet there. So there you go. Continue to the end of this row. I think it's looking lovely. So we're going to do another, wait, look at this habit, hey, habit. Put my hook in there and make 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. Then just put the stitch marker back in there. Then a double crochet. See how this yarn splits, and a chain 1. Skip 1 in the next one, a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Beautiful sea green I'm using here. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. This is what we've done before. It's nothing new. This is just how I choose to do it. You can put them in any order that you wish. The further away I move from the body, the more of these stitches I'm going to use. Exactly this row. Right? So I'm going to do 3 rows. This row and the next 2 rows will also be this, but I'll show you how I do it. So continue to the end. I'll see you there. So then this row that we're going to make now is also going to be little window row, but a little bit different. Let me show you how I like to do it. Let me just get in camera. My apologies. 3 chains like we start most of the rows. I make a double crochet there. Next to it, I think it gives it a bit of strength. Even if we end off with just, like a chain 1 and a double crochet, I think it's stronger to have a full-on stitch than just having 3 chains. So I put the double crochet next to it as strength. Now in the chain 1, I'm going to work a double crochet. So in this instance, 3 double crochets next to each other. no problem. Chain 1, skip the double crochet in the chain 1, make a double crochet, chain 1, skip the double crochet in the chain 1 space, work a double crochet, and off you go. That is the pattern for this row, like that. Right up to the end. If you end on a double crochet, you're going to work a double crochet in the chain, and on the double crochet you work a double crochet. 2 double crochets next to each other, no problem. Right, there you go. Continue like that. There we go. Just keep in mind, you might not even get this far if you're very tiny, or if you're making this for a little girl, for a small person. But here I am. 1, 2, 3 chains, and we're going to make a double crochet in the next stitch, top of the next stitch. With this yarn that splits like this. There we go. Just put the stitch marker back in. Come on. There we go. Stitch markers back in. Now chain 1, skip that double crochet, and in the chain 1 space make a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the double crochet in the chain 1 space, make a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the double crochet in the chain 1 space, make a double crochet. There we go. So it's basically the same pattern. We're just working. This is the 3rd row like this, and as I say, the further I get from the body, the more rows I put like this. Right, so there you go. Just continue with this. As you can see here, there's no right or wrong way. You started, and you just, if you put 2 double crochets next to each other, nothing wrong with that. Now the next round, row, not round. Oh yes, this one I will start with a slip knot on the hook, because it is a row of single crochet. So there you go, make a slip knot on the hook at last, and then into the top of the 3 chains, make a single crochet. And quickly replace the stitch marker so I know exactly where we need to start. Now, as I told you, single crochet is very sturdy stitches, so just in every stitch work a single crochet. This is going to give lovely support. Don't work too tight, not tighter than the previous row so that it pulls it in. We just want it to be there to give support. And you can decide, let me just do this, 1 single crochet in every stitch. My apologies. There we go. 1 single crochet in every stitch. Exactly like that. See? Now this row and the next row I will do single crochet, then I will repeat 3 rows of this, or any of these rows that I like, and that is what you must do now. You know how, and then obviously I must try it on at some stage because I need to know when to stop. And then we are going to be crocheting it together on the sides. So I'll lay it out on the bed once I've done enough of my rows. I will lay it out on the bed, put stitch markers on the side, which I will show you. Try it on. If it's right, we come back to the table and we are going to connect from under the arm down and leave a portion open, about this much open, because we want it to be a slit. So for ease of movement. So I don't really have to show you more rows like this. You've seen, I'm going to just show you here now like this. Let me just do this. So what have you seen here? You can choose any of these rows. You can choose a row where there's 2 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, 2 double crochet. You can choose a row where there's double crochet in every row. You can choose these window rows where it's a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. You can choose this look where you do 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, skip a stitch, as long as the stitch count stays the same. Right? Don't forget, here what we did was a half double crochet, 1 in every stitch. Any of these rows, however many rows you need to do, you can continue and pick your own sequence. If you've done what I've done up to here and you don't know what to do, you can just start by at this green row and just repeat the sequence until you have enough rows. Right? So continue making your rows, and then I'm going to make mine until I have enough rows, lay it on the bed and try it on, and when I'm ready, sure it is right, I will share with you, videotape, lie it on the bed, show you, and then we come back to the table and we connect. Then we do the neck, the bottom, and that would be, ta-da, end of our dress. Tunic. Call it a tunic, call it a dress. To me, it's a dress, crochet dress. Okay, so continue your rows and I see you again. Okay, I've laid the dress out on the bed. That is as wide as I want it to be. So what I'm going to do now is I've measured how far I want this sleeve to be. So here, from there, all the way down to about there, I will connect it. Then I will leave the rest open. Then we do the neck and then the bottom part, and I've tried it on and I need about 4 rows and then the fringes. So when you do this, you can use stitch markers to just mark, put them there and then put it over your head. I just put it over my head just like this because it's the second one I'm making, and I've determined how far I want to close it up, how wide my sleeve, or well, not sleeve, opening for the arm must be. Now obviously if it's too far, you can always close a few more stitches, which I did with the first one, so that is fine. Okay, so I see you at the table again. Okay, so I have now brought this to the table and I've done the one side. So let me tell you what I've done. I have used stitch markers and I have measured that the part of the garment, the bottom slip that I want to keep open. This is the bottom hem. There we go. So this, and I'm on the wrong side. Let's just determine that. That's the right side, facing the right side. Wrong side, wrong side. I'm working on the wrong side now because I'm putting it together. So what is happening here is I have measured the slit on the side, and it is 60 stitches, mine. So of course yours will be a different measurement depending on how tall you are. Mine is in centimeters, 34 centimeters, or 13.5 inches, which is obviously my tension also, your tension, everything plays a role. So for me it is 60 stitches from the bottom up, I count. And then there is the 60 stitches on that side, lands on a chain. The 60 stitches on this side lands on a double crochet. Oh my goodness, is my English deserting me? Okay, so let's do this. We are now going to crochet it together. That is, this is to me a dress, so I want to do it very strong, sturdy connection. I put a slip knot on the hook for once. In a long time we put a slip knot on the hook, and then I go in. That is my 60 stitches mark, 60 stitches mark, and I make a single crochet. There we go, and there we go, like that, through this side, through that side. Now if yours is this on the other side of the garment, it worked out different, so that it was one stitch opposite one stitch, one double crochet opposite one double crochet. But I wanted to be correct from the bottom up, and I counted all the stitches. And of course what plays a role is how I ended it or how I start it. There's only 2 double crochets, there is 3 double crochets next to each other, which means it's the chain space and the double crochet spaces fall uneven. Okay, now now we're going to start, and I want to keep the stitch marker in there. I don't want to lose my place. I want to make sure, because if I lose my place, it will be uneven eventually. There, so now I just make a single crochet, work a single crochet. In the next stitch, this stitch will be a chain 1, and that one will be a double crochet. So I just see to it that I go into the top of the double crochet, and I work a single crochet. This is a double crochet, V, and that side is a chain 1 space. I just go through both, and that is how you're going to work it. Next is a chain stitch. This is now what I do with you is the difficult scenario. Chain stitch, and then that side is a double crochet. I mean, if you want to say, oh no, I'm not going to do this for 1 stitch, I'm simply going to go 1 stitch up and just connect it. Who will know 1 stitch? Well, doesn't matter. If you feel that way, no problem. I just wanted to be correct on my side. Let me just, my yarn tends to split. So there we go. So we're just going to work single crochet up all the way, making sure. Now I'm in my double crochet on this side, and a chain 1 space on that side. There we go. Come on, like that, and we work it. On this side a chain 1 space, on that side a double crochet, and I connect with a single crochet. You can see how it's coming on. Now I will continue. I will just show you on the other side what it looks like. On the side I've already finished. I counted up 60 stitches both sides, and then I started, you can see there's mine, but in this case it both started in a chain space, right? And I continued working single crochet all the way up until, now I'm running out of space here because I'm cramped for space, until where I had a stitch marker in. Now, this is a hint, a tip. This is my sleeve. My sleeve opening is 9 inches or 23 centimeters. Right there you see my sleeve opening. It's not a sleeve opening, well, this is a drop shoulder because on my body, the widest part of this garment is my hips. So automatically, because my hips is the widest part, my shoulders will have this part of the garment will be a drop shoulder. Now, what I did was I worked up a bit more up to say about here, right? And then I put it on. So what I did was I pulled out the stitch. You know how you pull out the stitch long just so that when you do this, when you just pull out a stitch long so that it doesn't unravel. Then I tried it on. And as I was standing in front of the mirror, I see the sleeve and I think, okay, it's a little bit tight. So I just went ahead and I pulled like you would pull on this and undid. I undid, frogged about 3 stitches. Then sort of wiggle my body in the dress and is it comfortable now? And I undid another 3 and then it was right. So for me, this is how I got to how wide exactly my sleeve opening should be, by going up a little bit where I wanted it to be, a little bit too far, and then just standing there and just pulling on the thread so that it would come undone a few stitches, and then I got it where it should be, took it off and just tied it off, and then I knew, okay, that is the perfect sleeve opening for me. See, so if you want to do it that way, if that is an easy way for you to do it, go for it. Like that. See, just like that. That's how I did it, all the way up. And these stitches on the side seam here for my body, for the length I am doing it, is 87 stitches that I worked from the start to here, 87. So that's what I'm going to do on this side. I am going to see that I work from the first stitch, 87 stitches. Okay, let me just drop this on my lap so I can work here. So I'm going to work 87 stitches all the way up. Then I know it will be the same as the other side. Obviously, I will put it on just to make sure it is indeed the same. Then we are going to do the neck. So what I did was I counted ahead and I put a stitch marker on stitch number 87 from this side, and then I just connected. Now you can see if I hold it up like this that you can see a space on this side and you see a double crochet on the other side, because that is how I started. Remember, I said this one is uneven, whereas, let me just hold up the previous one. If the previous one you held up, it was like this, because it was a space corresponding with a space. Double crochet with a double crochet. And why did it happen like that? Because of the way, if I count 60 stitches from the bottom, this one started with 3 double crochet and this one with 2 double crochet. And that's just the way that it is. You know, sometimes it starts with 3 and sometimes it starts with 2, or it ends with an extra one. It depends on how you want the stitches to fall. But to me, it's not a problem. I don't see it as a problem. So I just counted from the bottom up 60 stitches, and from there on for 87 stitches, which is what I measured, that is how far up I want it closed. So I've already explained how you can do it. We differ in body size. Mine is a 3XL. I'm 1.8 meters tall. keep it in mind. You are just going to follow the principles. I think the best thing is to start with the bottom, measure how long the slit must be on the side, and then just count the stitches on both sides the same, put a stitch marker in, and from there on you work. And as I said, what I did was to work, well, you approximately know how big you want your sleeve opening to be, armhole to be, and then you just work a little bit more, you try it on, and you just pull slightly out until it's very nice. And then with the first one I counted how many stitches, I got 87 stitches, and then I knew for the second one that's how it's going to be, 87 stitches. Now let's do the neck. When we do the neck, we must be on the right hand side of this garment, right? Wrong side on the inside, the right side on the outside. All the ends must be working on the inside. There's the wrong side. We are now facing the right side. And I like to start on the shoulder always. So I'm going to make a slip knot on the hook, like this. And then, let me just turn everything so that we've got it here. Just a moment. Okay, let's just orientate. That's the back. That is the back. This is my front left if I was inside the dress. This would be my front left, my front right, and the back. So I'm going to start on the edge here. So let's start. I am using this color, the binding color. I can use that light pale lavender if I want. Any of the two is fine. I prefer to use any of those two colors that I ended with. Okay, so let's start here. And I make a single crochet. And in the next stitch, I make a single crochet. Now, we need to work a decrease in each of the corners. Now, I am going to work through the corner space, grab yarn and pull up and pause. And through the first stitch that I see there, I work, go through, grab yarn, pull up and pause. I have 3 stitches on the hook. Now this one was worked because of that stitch, right? So it's basically the one that's still the back stitch, because this is the back. So one from the back and one from the side that I will decrease by making a yarn over like this and pull through all 3 so that those 2 stitches become 1. Now I'm going to work a single crochet in every stitch down the side, just as you see it there. A single crochet in every stitch. I'm going to go around with you once. You can, if your whatever size your dress is, how it turned out, you can do this, go around once, twice, 3 times, as long as you keep to the principles and do it in whatever colors you like. So there we go. Just work a single crochet in every stitch as you're going down. I like to do it very neatly. There we go. We're nearing the corner where this is the side still and this is the front. So there we go. A single crochet in each stitch. Beautiful. Now I must just hold it to see. Right, there is a stitch because we did a row of single crochet and then we did chains. So that will be my first stitch, the side of that single crochet, the first stitch on the neckline, and that stitch will be my last stitch on the this side, the vertical side. So let's do one more single crochet, and then I'm just going to put my yarn through, grab and pull up, and in that side stitch of that single crochet, like that, I'm going to go through that single crochet, pull yarn up. I've got 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through both. So I'm working a decrease. Then I work 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space and 1 single crochet in every stitch. Now I'm on the front of the garment and I'm working a single crochet in every stitch I see, just like this. So let's turn it a little bit so we can orientate, just like that. So I've come down. I was on the back, I started on the back. Let's put a stitch marker in where we started, so you can clearly see where we started on the back. Went around the corner, worked 1 decrease, all the way down, worked a decrease. We're going to work all the way over to this side. So I'm going to work a single crochet in every stitch, and I will meet you when we work that decrease. There we go. I've worked a single crochet in the top of every stitch here. So here we're coming to, there's the chain 1 space, and I'm working a single crochet in there. Now in the side of that single crochet, well, through the stitch, however you want to work it, that the single crochet there and that stitch, those 2 must be worked as a decrease. So this is the last stitch on this side, and that one will be the first one on the up, let's say on the up side, if I turn it like this. So we have to work a decrease there. So grab yarn, pull up, grab yarn, pull up through that stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook, and a decrease is worked. Now just work a single crochet through every stitch on the side here, like that. And it will be good to count that the amount of stitches on this side and the amount of stitches on this side is the same. I mean, if you're out, be out by 1 stitch, that's it. Anything more, it will show. And the amount of stitches at the back and the amount of stitches at the back, and I'm pointing to the front, at the back and in the front must be the same as well, right? So just keep that in mind. Whatever your count is, the 2 sides should be the same, and the front and the back should be the same. If you're off, 1 stitch off, but nothing more. Okay, so I'm going to work my single crochets up on the side until I reach this, my 90-degree corner, which is where I meet the back. And I'm going to be turning my work, of course, but I will tell you we will be working on our back, and you will know that because I've just showed you. So I am turning my work because it's a bit much here on my lap. This is the corner, this is the back. Let's quickly have a look at it. That is the first, that lavender stitch is the first stitch on our back. That's the last stitch on our side. So I need to work 1 more single crochet, and then I need to work a decrease. So I just go through my last stitch on the side, grab yarn, pull up, go through my single crochet, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through all three, and that's my decrease worked. In the chain one space, work a single crochet, and in every stitch a single crochet. But now in the back here we have, it's a little bit different in the sense that we have two small squares and not one big square. So let me just work one single crochet in every stitch until we get to the join. There we go. So until I get there, I'll see you there. There we go. So this is how I work it. There where there's a chain one space and a chain one space, and I'm going to work a decrease there. One yarn up, put your hook through, grab yarn, pull up, put your hook through, grab yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. There you go. And then a single crochet in every stitch. And I've counted the front and I've counted the back, and I have to work a decrease here so that I have 37 in the front and 37 stitches in the back. Now your count may be different because you might be smaller or bigger than me. Whatever your count is, let it be the same. If it's one stitch out, that's fine, but let it stay with one stitch out. Not next round 2 stitches out or more, you see. Okay, let's just move this garment so we can, because we're coming up here where we started, making a single crochet here, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. If you look, you can see that in that stitch is that single crochet. I'm just taking my stitch out. I'm just moving it a little bit like that. Because I don't really want to work in that one. I want to work in the next one so that my stitch is a smooth stitch right over that one. An invisible connection, if you want to say it like that. See, if I, there. Now that stitch that I just missed, there is the stitch, you see. So it's like, and you can't see where you stopped and started, and that's what I want. Okay. I'm going to do another round, and this time I want to use this light lavender. And I'm going to make a single crochet, a slip knot on the hook. And you can go around maybe once, twice, 3 times. Once might be enough for you, maybe twice, 3 times. But the thing with me is I like, I'm going to make 2 rounds and then I will try it on and see if I'm happy with 2 rounds. So there we go. So I'm going a little bit further back, just starting there. Working a single crochet. Like that, and a single crochet, and it's easy now because we've got a different color. Well, it's very light, and there I go through my, I want to say fake stitch. So there is the corner. So that's the last stitch on this side, that's the first stitch on that side. So this one and this one should be worked a decrease. So there I work a single crochet through my stitch. As long as we understand that in every corner you're going to work a decrease. So there we go. I work my single crochet as normal. In my second round, well, this one's very clearly because it's a little bit stretched. Hey, I'm going to yarn over and pull up, and then in the first stitch going this way, I'm going to go through, yarn over, pull up, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook, and my decrease is worked. And that's all I have to do. And then I just work a single crochet in every stitch. When I get to the next corner, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to see that I work a, where is it? Here we go. You see, so there you can clearly see this is my last stitch on this side, and that's my first stitch on that side. So in that one, I will work a decrease. So this will be a normal single crochet. Then just put the hook through, bring up yarn, put the hook through, bring up yarn, and work a decrease, just as I've exactly the same that I've done right there. And that is beautiful, exactly how you want it to look. There we go. Now, that's my last stitch on this downside. This is the front here. That's the front. So I work my last normal double crochet, normal single crochet there. My last stitch, I just pull up yarn. My first stitch on the front, I just pull up yarn, and I do a yarn over and pull through all 3, effectively working a decrease, which is what you want. And then in the next stitch, I work a single crochet as per normal. And now I'm in the front of the garment, and I just keep working my single crochets all the way. This is that's the back. My left, if I had the dress on, this would be my left front, and I'm now on the front, which is where I'm going to work 1 row of this single crochet, just a single crochet in every single crochet, and in the same way that I just did it, I will continue and work in the corner a decrease. I see you in the corner. There is the front. I've worked a lavender single crochet in every single crochet. Let's just look at this. If you hold it up nice and clear like this, then you can see this is my last stitch on this side, and that's my first stitch on that side. So that and that stitch needs to become 1. So I need to work a decrease, which means the stitch just before that will be my last normal single crochet. So I'm going to work 1 and 2. So let's just work those last 2 normal single crochets. 1 and 2. And then I put my hook through, pull up yarn, put my hook through, pull up yarn, yarn over, pull through both. In the next stitch, just work your single crochet all the way up the side, which if you were wearing the dress would be your right front side. Like that. See, it's taking shape. I'm turning just so that it can be easier to work in it. I see you in that corner. There we go. Let's just tilt it like this so you can see. First stitch up, last stitch at where we are now. That's my last normal single crochet. Then I'm just going to work a decrease by grab yarn, pull through. In the next stitch, grab yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three on the hook, and work your single crochets up along the side as you go. Well, it's not up along the side, it's actually along the back, because now just turn this, we are working along the back of this garment. It's a lot of work to turn, and I don't want to bump the camera. There we go. So I'm just going to work my single crochets all the way across, and then I see you where we connect. Okay, so I'm going to do the same as before. There's my first single crochet. Let me just pull it a little bit this way. I'm going to not work into the first one, I work into the second single crochet that I made, so that this stitch that's on the hook will fall over that stitch like that, and it will be like an invisible join. So I go through that stitch and I just do a slip stitch. I've got different scissors now because I don't know what I did with the others. Yarn over and pull through and secure. There we go. Just work in those ends, and then you can't see because that's the stitch that you worked over. There you go. See? Okay, so you can work more rows. Let me just turn this garment. So you can work more rows if you want, but I just work the 2. You can try it on if you still need your neckline to shrink as it may be. Just work more. Obviously it will come in 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches more and more and more, because you're working, the corners are coming in a little bit every time. They can't not come in, otherwise they'll stand up, and that is not a neckline. That's ridiculous. It needs to have that, so that it needs to have that decrease so that it lies flat. Okay, so you can see it's lovely and sturdy. Now what I want to do is work my rows at the bottom. So this is the bottom end of the dress, right? And let me see what it is. Is it the front or the back? Doesn't really matter. We just try and see. This is the front bottom. Front bottom. So I'm going to go to my last stitch. Now I haven't worked in. I'm on the right side. You can see here. I'm not on the. This is the wrong side. Has all the ends that's not worked in yet. I like to work in the ends when I'm really sure that I've done everything that I need to do. Okay, and I'm going to work a slip knot on the hook. Now, with this lavender, I'm going to work a double crochet. Wait, we work a single crochet chain 2, which is our fake double crochet. There we go. And then another double crochet in the side of the cream colored double crochet. And then in the side of the next double crochet, I work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Slow and easy does it. This is a double crochet, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets around the side of this post. Just see that your yarn that is not yet worked in does not get all tangled up. Because I prefer, with my experience with the previous dress, to work in these ends separately afterwards. So around my green double crochet, I work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. There we go. Around my cream, just take the end out of the way, I work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. And you just, there's a double crochet, and I'm going to work 2 double crochets around that post. There we go, 1 and a second one. There's a lavender post, double crochet, I work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Here is a single crochet row. Let me just take that end out of the way. So I'm going to work 1 double crochet through the last double crochet. Around, if you can find that little post, my yarn keeps splitting. There we go, like that. Work 1 double crochet. That cream is a single crochet, so I'm working 1 double crochet around the last post. And let me just get that cream out of the way as well. So then if it's a single crochet, you just work 1 double crochet around the post. If it's a double crochet, you'll work 2. You see what this looks like? There we go. Green is double crochet, so let me just, this is what it looks like at the back. See? So I'm just getting the ends out of the way before I work over them. The green is a double crochet, so I'm going to work 2 double crochets around the post of the last double crochet, like that. 1 and 2. And just take this row slow and methodical and do it the way you should be doing it. Around the double crochet, I work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. This sea green is a double crochet stitch, so I'll be working 2 double crochets around the last double crochet post. There we go. And I've got lavender double crochet post. Just get the right place, right there. And I'm working a double crochet and a double crochet. 2 double crochets around 1 double crochet on the side. This is a dark brown double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to continue. In my half double crochet, I'm going to work 1 double crochet. Otherwise, it's in every one here is double crochet rows. I'll be working 2 double crochets in the side, and I will meet you here where our square starts. This is what it looks like at the back. Well, I think it looks rather neat. I mean, you can see all the ends that must be worked in, but they're lying to one side. And from the front, it's looking like this, which is fine. Right, now we're getting to our square. Now remember, we put the stitch marker in to say that is part of the side. So let's just see how we're going to work this. In this sea green single crochet row, I think it is, we are working 1 double crochet like that. Now we don't work into that stitch because this sea green single crochet has already worked into that stitch. We work into the next stitch. There we go. Just need to see exactly where that is. Do I have a V on the hook? Yes. If you always, anytime you're in doubt, just see that you've got a V on the hook, then you know you've got the right stitch. So there is my first double crochet. I'm putting that, any ends that must be worked into one side. And then I just continue working a double crochet into every stitch. Now make sure when you do the back of this garment that eventually you've got the same amount of stitches in the front as in the back at the end of this row. So this is your first row. You know what you've put in where. You know, in a half double crochet row you've put 1 double crochet. In a single crochet row you've put 1 and 1 double crochet. Where there is a double crochet you've put 2 double crochets in the side. So you know exactly the principle you followed. And where the stitch marker is and where you can clearly see you've already worked into that stitch belongs to the side. You don't work into it. You work into the stitches belonging to the bottom, the hem. So I am continuing here and just working a double crochet in every stitch. Let me just quickly see. Right, a double crochet in every stitch, and I will see you here again. Now let me just say that here, that's the last stitch at the hem. In the next stitch you can see the single crochet sea green has been worked, which means that's whatever you see there does not belong to the hem, to the bottom side. It's already been worked in. So just work into, that's my last stitch there. I'm not working into this very tempting stitch here. Just know that it's incorrect. Go through my first, and look, it's a very thick stitch. First single crochet and work a double crochet there and take it to one side, and there in the side of the double crochet I'm working 2 double crochets like that. Then in the side of the next stitch I'm working 2 double crochets. So you're going to repeat what you've done previously on the other side of this square. Like that, right? Because you can think that you actually also need to have the same amount of stitches on this side where your vertical rows are as here where these vertical rows are. So the vertical rows, so before and after the 2 squares, your stitches should be the same. Why should it be different? Right? So there you go. And then obviously afterwards you make sure that the entire front amount of stitches, when you do the back, the entire amount of stitches is the same. So the front stitches is the same amount as the back stitches. well, we want our dress to be perfect, isn't it? Or as close to perfect as we can get. So that's what we're going to do. So, okay, I'm just going to continue what we've been doing up to the last stitch here. There I'm going to work my 2 double crochets in the side. Then I want to try it on and see how many rows do I need. Do I need 3 rows? Maybe 4 rows? And I can pick any of these rows to work. I can pick a row that is a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. I can pick a row that is a stitch in every stitch, or 2 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, 2 double crochets. Any of these rows you can repeat here to make it a bit longer. And then, so if I decide I'm going to make just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, however many rows I need, or however many rows you want to add. And remember, these rows are rows that we said if this dress stretches a little bit, eventually these are the rows that are like a buffer that you can pull out a row or 2 to sort of save, quote unquote, save the dress. Because if the dress, for whatever reason, because it maybe was washed incorrectly or whatever, stretches for you too long, then the amount of rows you have here, you can just take off the fringes and pull out a row or 2 or 3, put the fringes back on, and problem solved. I explained that in the beginning of this video, so you can just go back to that where I show you the prototype and how these horizontal rows at the bottom of the dress work. Anyway, so I'm going to continue to the corner, and then I'm going to put it on and decide how many rows to add, and I will do the same on the other side as we've done here. And then I will meet up with you so that we can do the fringes.
There we go. I have finished this dress and it's come out beautifully. And I am going to put on the fringes. I've got my yarn ready here. It looks a mess, but that's what it looks like while you're still busy with the project. Now, I've put 4 rows in here. Remember I said this is like a buffer. So if you wear this dress and it stretches, these are rows that you can pull out. Because, and then up to the purple row, I would say, obviously not further than that. And then, so you've got that bit, and if it stretches and you've got the fringes, you can go up. I didn't make this one quite as long as I made the first one. And then I must add, this is my prototype, the first one. The first one stretched a little bit, but then what happened was the first day I wore it, it rained. So, well, then it's really too long. So what I'm doing now is, because you can see here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, 8 rows at the bottom. And remember, this was a 4-weight yarn. So I am taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows out. And then I'm simply taking these fringes and connecting them to that, and I have saved my dress. Because otherwise you've done all this work, and what? Now the dress is cannot be saved? No way. And yes, so I'm going to show you what that looks like when I've done that. There you go. So this is now just 2 rows, well, 3 with that one. So 3 rows and a little bit shorter fringes, just a little bit, to neaten it up actually was the reason. But yes, my dress is then saved. So there you go, and that's the reason for this piece that you put in here as a buffer. Okay. There we go. So now I've done the fringes and I've actually added, let me see, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. I've actually added 2 more rows after trying it on one more time. So this is how I do it.
I turn my work actually, because I want it to look like that on the right side, I turn it over to the wrong side when I work on it. So I'm going to show you this now. And I literally just went and I took a piece of yarn in my hand, and I'm going to share with you now how long mine is. I put two pieces together like this, and then I folded it again one more time so that those ends are together, and I said to myself, okay, I think this is the size of my fringe that I want. So that's literally what I do. Now let me just quickly measure this for you. That is 7 inches, so it's 14 inches. A piece of 14 inches or 36 centimeters, because it's times 2, right? So this is my method that I chose. I did one like this, and then I did say a 10, and I chose how many colors I wanted, and I chose 7 of the colors. I think I left out one of the colors by accident. So I would start with one color and go and go and go, and then until I get to that color again, and that's how it worked. Okay, so there we go. I have the 2 ends, and then I fold it like that. And that's not cut yet, but that I only cut that afterwards. So what I do is I put my hook in from the top, grab the 2 strands, pull it up, and I sort of open it and pull the yarn through, and then making sure they are equal, because they have to be equal there, and then I pull it tight like that, and afterwards I just go and I cut. There we go. And I did the same. There we go. So the next color would be, you can see here, that was the light color we just used. Then the next color would be this dark purple, and I do the same thing. I just take the 2 ends together, fold it so that the other side is on that side together, like that, together. Now I'm going to put my hook through like that, pull it through, and then I sort of open it up to grab all those 4 ends together, and I make sure that those 1, 2, and those that will become 2 ends is all equal length, and then I pull, and then I just cut, and then I'm going to do my last one with you like that, my 2 ends and that end. And I just watched a movie while I did this, obviously one of those movies that says watch this while knitting. There you go. And I open it up, I pull through, there we go, like that, and that's my last one. And that gives it quite the boho look that I wanted it to have. Turn it over, and it, you see, if you do it on this side, it comes out like it's got 2 little legs like that. I don't want that. I want it to have like a little bump on the top. That's why I do it on the wrong side when I do it. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial, and I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. And please give us a like if you liked it, and leave a comment. And if you have any problems, email me or leave a comment, no worries. And I hope to see you either on a Monday or a Friday when we do a live stream, when we're social in the crochet world. It's lovely to meet up with you guys, and I would love it if you would, if you make this dress, if you would post your version in the Facebook group that is also called OM Granny Square. And every Monday we show our viewers everything that you guys post in the week. Thank you and bye.